Hi there. In this session we're going to be taking a look at how we could go about creating a new project within Mission Control. So the easiest way to launch a new project is directly from the console. So up in the top left we're able to build out the framework for a new project by putting in the project name and the milestones. So as you can see, what I've done is added in the project name. I've added 3 milestones, and each milestone is going to contain its own actions, which is what we're going to go on to do next. So the first milestone will be I'll be designing the website, the second milestone I will be building it, and the third one I'll be delivering it. So once I click on create here, what that will do is go away, it will create the project, it will create the 3 milestones, and it will drop me onto the edit page of the project so I can put in some more details. So I can specify the status. I can come in here and I can select a category and a subcategory if I've added values there. So over here I'm going to look up the role record of the person that is going to be the overall project manager. I have the ability to link through to a company, so this is looking up the account record for our client in Salesforce, the person at that company, and the opportunity that has been closed won that is resulting in us needing to deliver this project. If I have a project reference system, I can put in that there as well. So now we're looking at the project settings, and you can use as much or as little of this functionality as your individual business requires, but we'll go through it in detail so you understand all of the functionality. So up in the top here we can specify whether this is going to be a fixed price or a time and materials project. So in this example I'm going to say that it's fixed price. Over here I can specify the budget that I have available to deliver this project, and then looking at this I can specify, I can track on my project both the billing rate and the cost rate. So the billing rate being what I'm charging my client to deliver the work, the cost rate what I'm paying my staff to do the work for me. So I can track both of these in one of 3 ways. I can use the standard rate so that regardless of who's doing the work, the same day rate will be applied. Role-based might mean if Mark is doing the work, we're billing him out at $200 an hour, and if Colin is doing the work, we're billing him out at $150 an hour. Skill-based is using an individual rate applied to a skill that a person is using to deliver the work. So for example, in this website project, we're going to have some actions to design websites, to build HTML, and to deliver training. So if Colin is using the skill of design, he might be billed out at $150 an hour. But if he's delivering training, we might bill him out at $120 an hour. So in this example, I'm just going to say we're using a standard rate, and regardless of who's doing the work, we're billing them out at $1,200 a day. I have the same options available on the cost rates. As a reminder, the cost is the payroll fees that I'm paying my staff to do the work. So in this example, I'm going to say everyone gets paid the same rate and we're all paid $800 a day. So what that means is if someone does a day's worth of effort on the project, we're going to be earning $1,200 from the client. We're going to have to pay that member of staff $800, so there's a $400 margin on the project for us. So we're able to track the profit and loss position of the project at any point in time. So we can also specify here, would the client be paying us overtime? And if they do, what's the ratio that they pay us? So we're going to say they pay us time and a quarter. And do we pay our staff overtime? And if we do, what's that ratio? So we might pay our staff time and a half. Over here we can specify that the project is non-billable. So if it is, for example, it might be an internal project where we're developing a new piece of software. So we can specify that that's a non-billable project. Now that will still track the cost rates for us, it just won't calculate any billing rates. We can choose to exclude the entire project from the scheduler. We could exclude it from the timesheet. Now that might be, if you're running a support program and you don't want it to be impacting the actual capacity of the team, you could exclude this, and then any milestones or actions underneath that will be set to be excluded from the scheduler by default, and therefore they won't be visible on that scheduler. Same principle applies for the timesheet here. Now you can set these at the project level, or you can go down to the milestone level, and then everything within that milestone will be excluded, or you can do it at an individual action level as well. If we're looking to track this project on the PMO dashboard, we want to set that box to true in order to be able to look at that. Now over here we can select a color, and the color doesn't have any function behind it. It's used to display the sticky notes on the whiteboard or the actions on the scheduler in the color that we've selected. We also have a time log approval system. So if your team are logging time and you want that time to be approved before it gets accounted for in the financials of the project, you can check this box for the project manager to approve the time, and you can check this box for the person's individual line manager to approve the time as well. Now if you're not looking to use that approval process and you want everything to just default to approved, you can simply leave those set to false, and then everything will default automatically to approved. Now, once the project is complete, we can set it to archive. Now, archiving it doesn't remove it from Mission Control. It's still records sitting in the objects inside Mission Control. But what this is going to do is actually remove this project from the pick lists on key pages like the Mission Control console or the whiteboard. So this serves as a way of keeping those lists down to an in-flight list of projects that we're currently working on. Now, if I'm looking to generate invoices on the project, this is where I put my billing information. So I'm going to put in a purchase order for the client. And what I have to do here is look up the tax rate that I'm going to be using to generate the invoices. So I'm going to select Australian GST here, but I could be adding in any other tax rate that I need for my business. So I have the option to choose from three ways of generating invoices. So I could be saying it's going to be manual. So what that will be is that I'll just personally go and create the invoices as and when I need them. Milestone will be upon the completion of a particular milestone on the project. If we've set that to need an invoice creating, it will automatically be created for us in the background. And periodic is for time and materials projects. That allows us to specify that we're going to be doing that on a periodic basis, and the frequency might be weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. So on this basis, what I would be saying is it's a time and materials project. I'm going to be running periodic billing, and every fortnight I want to generate an invoice for any approved time logs and any approved expenses that are billable to the client. I can also specify the payment terms here. So in this example, what I'm going to do is say that we are running a milestone billing system. All of these fields over here will be calculated for me based on what's happening with the billing events. I can ignore this section. This is all calculated for me as well based on all of the hours that are scheduled or completed via time logs. Now down here, I also have the ability to track expenses. So I might say of my $6,000 budget, I expect 500 of that to be expenses. Now as the team start logging their expenses, they'll be approved and they'll be accounted for in the actuals. So I've now got my project ready, and if I save that, I'll be able to scroll down and you can see all of the information there that we've got on the project, and I will see my 3 milestones that I created when I launched the project from the console. So the next step is to build out the actions. So what I'm going to do now is click on Create Actions, and this will give me access to a page that lets me build out a number of records in one go. So this Create Actions page, it preloads one record ready for me to fill in, but what I can do is add a bunch more to the list, knowing that I'm going to have a number of different actions that I need to create. So for my first action, I'm going to say it's part of the design milestone, and it's going to be to design wireframes. Now I'll leave it as a status of planned. I'm going to specify here that there's 6 billable hours and there's no non-billable work. So I'm going to schedule when I want that to happen, so I'm going to schedule that for today. Now if I know who's going to do that work, I can select them from this list here, and this is showing me a list of all active roles within Mission Control. However, if I'm unsure who's got the capability to do the work or who's got the capacity to do the work, I can jump into this assignment wizard here, and that will help me search for the right person. So What this is showing me is because I'm creating the action, it's assuming I'm going to be the owner, so it's put me there by default, but we can change that if we need to. So first of all, what I'm going to do is just do a quick search right across the system, and that will show me all of the roles that I've got in mission control. So I can scroll down, I can see my list of a list of people that I have available, and across the page I can actually see their current availability based on the existing actions that are assigned to them for this week. So if I scroll down, we'll find my record, and we can see that I'm over allocated. So this 6 hours is pushing me way over. So what I'm able to do is actually drag and drop Chris down there, and I can make him the owner instead. And what you'll have seen there is actually the hours have been transferred from me to Chris. Now it might be that Chris isn't the right person, so I'll just drop myself back as the action owner, and what I'll do is, to make sure I'm going to get people working on this action that have the right skill set as well as the right capacity, I can search based on team membership and skills profile. So what I'm going to say is, I know I need someone on this team, and I know to do this this design wireframes you need to have this skill and you need to have this skill. So perform a new search, find the people that match that profile. Now you'll see I've got a much shorter list of people, so I know I can pull in anyone that is on this list that's got the right capacity, that can knowing that they can do this work. So what I'll do is actually leave myself as the owner, but what I'm going to do is also pull in Carey as a contributor. So I can drag Carey down here and say, right, of those 6 hours, Carey's going to be doing 2 of them. So as I do that, you'll notice that the hours get allocated to Carey and get reduced from myself. So I might say, actually, we're going to pull in Amy as well. So I'm just going to pull Amy down here, and I'm going to say she's going to be doing 2 hours work as well. And again, that time will go on to Amy's schedule. So once I'm happy with that, I can click on save, and then that's that record all done and assigned and ready to create. Now I can also add in material costs. I can put in further notes against the action. I can mark this individual action as non-billable. Now if I want to notify someone of having been assigned this action, they might be receiving their daily digest, yet that might come out first thing in the morning, and if I'm creating this and wanting them to start work on it today, I can click that notify box, and what that will do is send this person an immediate email letting them know that they've got this new action assigned to them. So carrying on over, I also have the ability, so as well as creating my action record inside Mission Control, I can choose to create a standard Salesforce task or event. I can also specify at the individual action level, as previously mentioned, that I might want to exclude this action from the scheduler or from the timesheet. So I'll leave that as it is, and I'll carry on building out the remaining actions. Now that I've got all of my actions ready, I can click on create actions, and that will go away, create those actions and drop me back onto the project, confirming that's been done. We'll now find that that project is sitting in Mission Control, ready to start. We can now click through onto the project overview and see the full details of the project we've just created. We'll be taking a closer look at the project overview page in a separate deep dive session, but for now we've got our project and it's launched and it's ready to start using in Mission Control.